Right now on Brooklyn News Live, the details we are just getting in about Pam Bondi, now ousted as the Attorney General, And we're live at the White House coming up here in just a few moments to recap Trump's address to the nation. And a successful launch for Artemis 2. How long it's staying up in the air. All as when we talk Capitol Hill, a deal to fund the Department of Homeland Security could be possible. And also, Tiger Woods' body camera footage now released. We'll talk about it and show you it coming up here in just a moment. Brooklyn News Live starts right now.
Now with breaking news.
Alrighty, good to be with you. It is a big news day. I'm Jackson Mitchell on this Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. Again, a big news day. We've got that breaking news we're going to start with right now. Moments ago, President Trump posting to Truth Social announcing that Attorney General Pam Bondi has been fired. In a post to Truth Social, President Donald Trump said, quote, President Donald Trump said, quote, Pam Bondi is a great American patriot and a loyal friend who faithfully served as my attorney general over the past year. Pam did a tremendous job overseeing a massive crackdown in crime across our country, with murders plummeting in their lowest level since 1900. We love Pam, and she will be transitioning to a much needed and important new job in the private sector to be announced at a date in the near future. And our Deputy Attorney General and a very talented and respected legal mind, Todd Blanche, will step in to serve as acting Attorney General. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, it comes after late yesterday, the New York Times came out with a report that Trump had discussed firing Attorney General Pam Bondi. The report went on to say that it could have been because of her handling, and the sources indicated that it was of her handling of the Epstein files, but not only that, her handling of going after President Trump's enemies. So again, that new reporting coming in right now. Todd Blanche also taking to social media to react to the news, saying, quote, Pam Bondi led this department with strength and conviction, and I'm grateful for her leadership and friendship. Thank you to President Trump for the trust and the opportunity to serve as acting Attorney General. We will continue backing the blue, enforcing the law, and doing everything in our power to keep America safe. That New York Times report also went to say that there was some people within the White House saying that President Trump now has floated the idea of replacing Bondi with Lee Zeldin. Now, Lee Zeldin is holding an event right now at the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency. He spoke moments ago before we came on the air, though he did not address this reporting and news. But for now, Todd Blanche, who was President Trump's former personal attorney, who served over the hush money case, now as the acting Attorney General. So that is again the information we are just getting in on Pam Bondi. If Lee Zeldin speaks on any of this, we will bring that to you. Now, Democrats in Congress on Capitol Hill already reacting to this news, saying that they still expect Pam Bondi to testify in front of Capitol Hill once again. So saying that legal message ordering her to testify is still accurate, even if she is no longer the Attorney General. So we will continue to follow that news. Also, a live look at Capitol Hill as we're learning that a possible DHS deal could be made. Now, we do also know that President Trump over at the White House was set to sign executive orders coming up at 2 p.m. If that has occurred, we know that it was originally closed press, but according to the White House pool notes, they were attempting to get within the White House for this, of course, following this news, but that has not come to reality, at least at this point. So if President Trump, a camera comes in front of him, he speaks on this, we will take you there live. So we will continue to track the breaking news, though, on Trump again firing Attorney General Pam Bondi. We are going to sneak on our first break of the hour. When we come back, we've got more news for you. We are going to talk and recap President Trump's address to the nation late yesterday. If you missed it, we've got a recap on all of that. That is when we come back on this Thursday edition of Brookland News Live. Alrighty, welcome back. Sorry for that about 10-second break here. That's the thing with doing this stuff live, is the news is happening as we speak. Right now, Lee Zeldin is the administrator at the EPA who was, again, floated to become the next Attorney General, now speaking. Let's turn the audio up and listen in.
Because you Americans don't know where each and every last tax dollar goes. As a matter of fact, let's say Americans have a lot more questions and answers. It's a mystery. Where does our money go? Well, I will tell you that at EPA's Office of Water, that you have just a tremendous amount of talent, experience, passion, and dedication. So I felt compelled to share that, Colleen. Thank you for your work.
Thank you, Minister.
Good afternoon. My name is Marcus Erickson. I'm the co-founder of the Five Gyres Institute, studying ocean plastics on a global scale of about 20 years.
Alrighty, again, we just wanted to go there and listen in for just a moment as we saw he was speaking. Each and every time he speaks, we'll take you there live just in case he is speaking about the news. Again, that news on Trump firing Pam Bondi. So stick with us for that. We'll go ahead and switch to our next topic here. As we recap the president's address to the nation that occurred at about 8 p.m. last night, went on for a little less than 20 minutes. So there we go. We'll keep monitoring that camera, and when he speaks, we will bring you that. President Trump taking quite some time last night on this war in Iran. That was what the address was set to focus on. He talked a lot about it, specifically saying this war was now near completion. I want to play that part for you.
Them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong. Many Americans have been concerned to see the recent rise in gasoline prices here at home. This short-term increase has been entirely the result of the Iranian regime launching deranged terror attacks against commercial oil tankers.
So President Trump there saying it is because of the Iranians launching what he calls, quote, deranged attacks on oil. We want to get you to the latest on gas prices as we have done each and every day since this all has begun. Right now, we'll look there. Prices continuing to rise as the day goes by. They have slowed a little bit now since this war has been going on for quite some time. Right now, sticking around $4, which is what we had seen them as about yesterday. Yesterday it was $4.64. Now it's $4.81 there. And it looks like my screen is having some issues, so I apologize about that. I'm not exactly sure why that happened. It's kind of random when it does. I want to take you to the state of Arkansas right now. $3.52 the average here. That average continuing to rise. If you look right now, $3.49 was yesterday's average a week ago. $3.39 a month ago. $2.61. Want to head up to Craighead County. $3.58 going to be the average there. In the Jonesboro Metro, $3.60 the average. So prices almost reaching the national average, just about 40 cents away if you live here in Jonesboro. I'm about to have to get gas, so I'll let you know what that looks like in the coming days. I believe I'm at a quarter of a tank, so I'll bring you that update when we get there. Also, in this address, President Trump said and laid out to the American people why this war even began.
I would never allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This fanatical regime has been chanting death to America, death to Israel for 47 years. Their proxies were behind the murder of 241 Americans in the Marine barracks bombing in Beirut, the slaughter of hundreds of our service members with roadside bombs. They were involved in the attack on the USS Cole, and they carried out the countless other heinous acts, including the just horrible, bloody atrocities of October 7th in Israel, something that most people have never seen anything like it. This murderous regime also recently killed 45,000 of their own people who were protesting in Iran. 45,000 dead. For these terrorists to have nuclear weapons would be an intolerable threat. The most violent and thuggish regime on earth would be free to carry out their campaigns of terror, coercion, conquest, and mass murder from behind a nuclear shield. I will never let that happen.
President Trump there saying he would never let Iran have a nuclear weapon, which he has laid out this entire war, saying that was the reason. He says he believed Iran was weeks away from having a nuclear weapon and using it against the United States. So President Trump there continuously weighing in on all of this. I want to play another piece of his speech. Here you go.
Navy is gone. Their Air Force is in ruins. Their leaders, most of them, terrorist regime they led, are now dead. Their command and control of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps is being decimated as we speak.
So President Trump there laying out kind of where things stand right now, saying of their naval leader is dead, which we had reported on earlier. Not only that, he also went on to mention that the country's leader, Iran's country's leaders, that we know at the beginning of all of this, the supreme leader was killed. Now he is they're saying that it is more than just that. President Trump also reacting on oil successes during this war, as he is now laying out for countries in a recent Truth Social post that if you want the oil, stop being scared and go get it. That is, of course, a paraphrasing there. This is President Trump laying out oil successes, all as gas prices climb to $4 right here in the United States.
Under my leadership, we are #1 producer of oil and gas on the planet, without even discussing the millions of barrels that we're getting from Venezuela. Because of the Trump administration's policies, we produce more oil and gas than Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. Think of that, Saudi Arabia and Russia combined. And that number will soon be substantially higher than that. There's no country like us anywhere in the world, and we're in great shape for the future. The United States imports almost.
So President Trump there on all of this. Now we're also already getting a reaction. Here's an interview from Atlanta that the Atlanta, one of the Atlanta local news stations did with someone at a gas station. Take a listen.
I feel like it's definitely going to hurt some of our more impoverished people who are out here struggling, people who are out here who just trying to get to and from work. I definitely feel like there are things that can be done to mitigate some of these prices.
So there you go. That was just a resident of Atlanta, Georgia, reacting to prices continuing to rise, saying it is going to affect those within poverty. CNN host also reacting to all of this. So this is kind of the political analysis side of things. Take a listen here.
With the necessity, we talked about you need necessity, the objective, then what's the plan? I thought the necessity laying out The Bill of Particulars on Iran was fairly effective, not entirely accurate, as you just pointed out. I think it's important to remind people of what Iran is about. It is a real threat. There are reasons to be doing what
I
we're
thought it
doing.
was striking that while he had a chance to speak to the Iranian leadership, the replaced Iranian leadership, he did not make an offer or any discussion of what the U.S.-Iran relationship could look like.
He hears their anxiety about it, and I do think gas prices are going to be one of the drivers of public opinion on the war. I think Brett's right about what he said about the allies, though. He called on our allies to come in and take over the Strait and deal with the Strait. Now, he's mostly talking about Japan and Korea. Both of them get about half their oil and gas through the Strait of Hormuz. But he's also talking about Europe. And I think the heads of state of our NATO allies need to have heard this message pretty loud and clear. We've maintained bases in their countries. We've fueled their economies. We've protected them from Russia for 75 years. And they wouldn't let us use our own bases in their country to engage in our national security here.
And look, if you are concerned about your own pocketbooks, and let's be honest, that's what most Americans were probably listening for. They're listening for, how's this going to affect my life, my economy? You weren't reassured. I mean, as Brett pointed out, if we're talking about an escalation, he's talking about 2 to 3 more weeks, then we're looking at, and he said this was going to be over in 4 weeks, then we're talking 7 to 8 weeks, and the kind of escalation he was talking about doesn't sound like it's just going to be 2 to 3 more weeks. I mean,
So their reaction from every side of the aisle on that speech that President Trump gave, delivering a speech, a national address to the American people on where the war in Iran stands right now. We do have some breaking news just into us moments ago. Pam Bondi taking to X to release a message on her social media pages where she goes on to say, and I'll read it here in full, quote, "Over the next month, I'll be working tirelessly to transition the office of Attorney General to the amazing Todd Blanche before moving to an important private sector role I am thrilled about and where I will continue fighting for President Trump and this administration. Leading President Trump's historic and highly successful efforts to make America safer and more secure has been the honor of a lifetime and easily the most consequential first year of the Department of Justice in American history. Since February 2025, we have secured the lowest murder rate in 125 years, secured first ever terrorism convictions against members of Antifa, shattered domestic and transnational gangs across the country, taken custody of more than 90 key cartel figures, and won 24 favorable rulings at the Supreme Court. I remain eternally grateful for the trust that President Trump placed in me to make America safe again." So Pam Bondi, again, releasing a statement after President Trump has just now fired her just a few hours ago now. We've got more news coming up for you right after this break. You're watching Brooklyn News Live on this April 2nd. It's a Thursday, y'all. And welcome back to the show. We are also following more breaking news right now out of Florida. Tiger Woods' body cam footage has now been released following his arrest. There's the mugshot. He was arrested on driving under the influence charges. He has since been released, and in a statement released just days ago now, he says he will be seeking treatment. Take a look at the body cam footage here. This is after he crashed into another vehicle, causing his vehicle to flip out of Florida.
Down my phone, and all of a sudden, boom.
Can you tell me what happened real quick?
Yeah, I was looking down at my phone, doing a look at changing stations, and next thing you know, boom.
Okay. Are you okay? Feeling
Yeah,
hurt?
totally fine.
Okay.
Totally fine.
I was getting ready to turn, and he didn't see me, I think, and he just kept coming.
Are you all right? Are you in any pain?
No pain. No.
No back pain, no neck pain?
No.
Knee?
Nope.
Nothing.
Unfortunately for the accident, you are at fault.
Yep.
And subsequently, you are issued a citation for careless driving resulting in a crash.
Okay.
All right?
Oh, Deputy Gideon, request that I respond here to conduct a DUI investigation on you, just to ensure that you're safe to operate the motor vehicle at the time of the crash, okay? Just like I explained and demonstrated. You're all done? Okay, go ahead and stand up for me. Then you're going to face my car. Okay, go ahead and place your hands behind your back. Place them behind your back. There you go. So at this time, I do believe your normal faculties are impaired, okay? And you're under that unknown substance, okay? So at this time, you're under arrest for DUI. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's okay.
Can you just say no?
Yeah, that's a narco.
It's narco?
Yep. Okay.
So there you go, the body cam footage now released, and then you saw towards the end there what, according to the police report, they were out of Florida where he was arrested. Pills, unknown pills found in his pocket. That officer then placing him under arrest for driving under the influence. He was also appeared to be cited during that for careless driving. We are going to follow the latest on that. I do want to get in the law enforcement perspective on all of this. This is a press conference that was held the day of the crash. This is just from the sheriff's department perspective there in Florida, saying this is how the crash occurred.
Appear that the driver of the Land Rover might be impaired, and at that point, the Chief Ewing of Jupiter Island Police Department called me from the Martin County Sheriff's Office and asked for our assistance. It wasn't that the Jupiter Island Police Department isn't fully capable of doing these types of investigations, but quite frankly, the Sheriff's Office has a lot more repetitions in these traffic crashes and these types of investigations. Our investigation revealed as follows. Shortly again before 2, the pressure cleaner truck pulling a trailer, a small trailer, was northbound on South Beach Road and was pulling kind of to turn into a driveway. It was slowing down, starting to turn into a driveway, and the driver of that vehicle looked in his mirror and saw a Land Rover, a dark-colored Land Rover, overtaking him at high speeds, and I don't know those speeds. The Land Rover kept overtaking him. He saw it coming, so he tried to edge off to the side of the road, but this is a small 2-lane road, and there was no shoulder for this pressure cleaner gentleman to get off the side of the road.
Alrighty, there you go. The law enforcement perspective also brought in on all of this. Again, we also know in a recent court order that Tiger Woods has now requested permission to exit the country in order to seek treatment. Alrighty, another quick break. When we come back, the news we are just learning about a possible funding deal for the Department of Homeland Security. The reaction we're already getting in from Senate Majority Leader John Thune this morning. And welcome back into Brooklyn News Live. Time is now 2:29, just before the half of the hour mark. The House and Senate Republican leaders have now reached a deal to end the 47-day, the longest shutdown in history of the Department of Homeland Security. Now, the agreement involving this new kind of two-track strategy, which would pass a Senate-approved bill to fund most DHS agencies and then use a separate reconciliation process to fund ICE and CBP border enforcement. Now, this reconciliation process does not require Democratic votes. So that is, it doesn't need it, as I should say. It requires, I mean, everyone can vote in it, but it does not require there to be any votes from Democrats. So if Republicans have the majority, they can get this approved. And that is kind of the same deal with the House here. This comes after, if you remember, last Friday, we were covering this very closely, and we came on the air actually earlier because Mike Johnson began speaking and really trashed this Senate proposed and passed bill that did not include funding for ICE. And now the House is about to pass a bill that does not include funding for ICE, even though ICE is going to be funded until 2027 under a previously passed bill. So it is going to be something to watch, and we will continue to do so right here on Brooklyn News. So if there is any more updates, we will bring you that. Okay, another quick break. When we come back, actually, here's what we'll do. We won't sneak in another quick break. We'll take you to our next story quickly here, because this is an interesting one we've been covering for now the last 3 days. So the Artemis 2 launch that occurred late last night was successful. So some good news there for astronauts. Now, circling around the moon, I want to play you a video of the moment it all occurred.
3, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch.
Houston now controlling the flight of Integrity on the Artemis 2 mission around the moon.
Integrity, AMT high.
AMT high.
On time, passing 30 seconds into the flights. Integrity passes the alternate MECO. Target milestone. Mission Control Houston seeing good performance on the four main engines. Space Launch System core stage. Integrity, 3 miles in altitude. Traveling more than 1,200 miles per hour.
Alrighty there, a successful launch for Artemis 2 as you continue to watch it in the sky. This was yesterday after we had already jumped off the air. Let's take a live look right now at NASA Plus's feed of all of this, showing the visualization of where the spacecraft stands right now, the International Space Station you see there, and then you'll see the Earth also in the distance right now. So again, a visualization, and they've also been providing looks as close as they can get, of course, of the aircraft as soon as they can. So again, that video there from yesterday after this had all occurred, so it was really something to watch. I actually watched it while I was busy not in our studio here. So again, a look there from yesterday's footage showing the spacecraft, launching into the air and headed to space. Those 4 astronauts expected to be up there for 10 days. That brings us now to your forecast right now. Well, rainy day ahead of us. At least it appears to be a rainy day, and it looks like it already may have started raining here in Brooklyn now as I take a look at that camera. I hadn't seen rain out of my window until now I'm looking at this camera, and I see plenty of rain. So, of course, that matched up with what kind of we had been forecasting throughout the last few days. When I get you to that forecast here. Today, Low of 66 as we go into tonight. The showers and storms are going to continue for the next little bit or so. By late tonight, they should be done with. So by Friday, high of 84, low of 67. How fast the weather can switch up. By Saturday, a high of 70, a low of 43, a 90% chance of rain. And it looks like right there, that is a fire truck passing off in the distance. It appears that their lights are now on, and that comes as we are getting reports of a crash blocking Highway 49. This was at 2:27, so maybe that is where those first responders are now going to. Yeah. Again, I was just reading this and I was about to bring it to you guys, but again, we were just learning now that I've seen that fire truck. Dispatchers have called the Brookland first responders to respond to a traffic collision with injuries and partial roadway blockage near Highway 49 North in the Brookland area, and that appears to be possibly where that fire truck was going as it continued to head north up on Highway 49. So beware if you're heading north. So that's going to be past the Dollar General is what it looks like. I can't see the crash, at least from our vantage point of this camera that we have right now. I can try pushing it in. You guys can tell me if you see backed up traffic or what you might see. I'll try my best here. I'm going to push it in pretty far here. Let me know if you guys see anything. I do see a trek of cars there in the distance, but I'm unable to see, at least from this vantage point, a crash on the roadway. So if you're heading on Highway 49 North, beware that there has just now been a crash reported. That was at 2:27. The time now is 2:35. So again, stay up to date, stay alert. We'll try to bring you updates if we see anything from our vantage point here, and I might need to, as soon as we get off the air here, if that is still going on, back zoom out on that camera. But again, I can travel up there and see what's happening, if it's anything crazy. But I'm not seeing any major traffic blockage right now as we continue to take a look at this camera. Stand by here. I'm gonna take you off this camera for just a second, because I do want to see if RDOT is reporting this just yet. So I'm gonna take it off the camera for just a moment. It does not appear RDOT. I see where the crash could have occurred here. I'm going to zoom out. This is the RDOT traffic map here, so it shows us kind of where there might be a slow in traffic, and you'll notice there, and I'll kind of fix it a little bit more, but you'll notice it's going to be right here. So that is going to be, I believe that is where there was formerly a daycare located. I can't remember what is now there. That is past the Dollar General though, and it appears that it's going to be affecting southbound traffic. So traffic coming from Paragould into Brookland instead of traffic going from Paragould out to Brookland. Let's take you back to that camera right now to see if maybe we'll be able to capture anything. This thing about you guys are kind of watching the live news gathering process of all of this. We're trying to see if we're able to see something. So now I'm gonna try to zoom in once again here to see if there's anything that I'm able to see, because it should be visible here in the far distance, but unfortunately I am not seeing it. I'm zoomed in once again to the camera here. It might be because that pole is blocking where this crash is, but also I believe this crash is like just around that corner there, so still unable to see it. Okay, forecast rainy today and again hot as we go throughout the next few days. That is going to do it for this Thursday edition of Brookland News Live. I want to thank you all for joining us. Tomorrow we've got a 30-minute show planned for you. We'll bring you that. In the meantime, though, have a great day. Again, we will see you all tomorrow, 2 p.m. So make sure to join us then for the latest in news, weather, and so much more. To wrap us up here this hour, we'll leave you on a live look in Brookland. Again, a crash just moments ago reported, and there goes another fire truck as we speak. So, again, a crash reported on Highway 49 on the southbound lanes as you head from Paragould to Brookland. As soon as I get off the air, I'm going to get in my car and head up there. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know what I see, what's going on there as conditions are rainy right now. I'm not seeing a backup in traffic just yet, but I'll head up there, let you know what I see. You're watching Brooklyn News Live. Have a great rest of your day. Follow us on social media. That's where I'm going to post the update if it's something major. So thank you all for watching.